Think back to the best managers you've ever had. Now, chances are they weren't that easy on you. They probably expected a lot. They challenged you, but you trusted them. There was something about their leadership style that engaged you, that brought out the best. Now, how did they do it? What made them effective? Well, over the last 20 years, I've been chasing down the answers to those questions, studying the managers with the highest customer satisfaction levels, the highest team profitability, the highest employee engagement scores. 20 years is a lot of research, but I knew that if I could identify the common characteristics of effective leadership, well, then I would better understand great organizations or great teamwork, great profit centers, great human potential.
New York Times best-selling author Adrian Gostick is considered one of the foremost authorities on workplace culture. His books have been translated into 30 languages and have sold more than 1 million copies worldwide. He appears frequently on national television, including CNN and NBC's Today Show. Drawing on cutting-edge psychology and examples of real managers in real businesses, Gostick unveils the findings of one of the largest research studies ever, including interviews with more than 300,000 people from high-performance cultures. No matter where Adrian Gostick speaks, he helps leaders at all levels inspire great work.
We've studied now cultures for the last 20 years. Procter & Gamble, we work with them on their culture, Rolls-Royce, American Express, AT&T, so lots of different cultures. And I can assure you, where you are heading today is the right direction. You've got some great leaders. We began with an 8 million person database from Towers Watson, our research partners. And we culled that down into what we called the global high performance cultures. Those that were outperforming their peers by 2 and 3x. As we've been looking at high performance work cultures for years, we believed it was employee engagement. If we could only get our people engaged, that would be it. That was the holy grail. What we found is that actually was not the case anymore, especially in this economy. And here's what we found in the research that I think is important for all of us, is that employees in these environments, in the highest performing cultures, were not only engaged, which is important, but they were also enabled and they were energized. For years, Chester and I, we've been looking at companies with low engagement and trying to get them to high engagement. And you can see the delta in operating margin as we worked on this with Towers Watson. And you can see for years why we've been looking at this. It's a big jump if you can get your people engaged, from about 10% operating margin annually to about 14%. But here's when we started looking at organizations that not only were engaged, but had high levels of enablement and energy. They were almost 3 times more profitable than those organizations with low levels. My son, when he was 16, his iPod stopped working. So he said, "Dad, can we go down to the Apple store and see if we can get this going again?" I said, "Sure, let's give it a try." You know, the young guy at the front, he says, "You know, these things don't last forever, but I'll go run it in the back, see if I can get this thing working for you." And he moves it from hand to hand to go in the back, and he slips and he drops it on the ground. And he goes, "Oh!" He says, "I'll go get you a new one." And 45 seconds later, no more, he's back with a new $200 iPod that he hands to my son. You know, at that moment, were we customers for life? Absolutely. In fact, the next day I took in my laptop just to see what would happen. But think about what's happened here. Was he enabled? Did he have the right tools and equipment at his disposal? Yeah. Did he have to go ask a manager? Obviously not.
The Economist says his work on leadership abounds with remarkable evidence. Newsweek calls him a convincing veteran business author. And organizations worldwide say he's an absolute necessity, providing the very real research-based steps to get people engaged, enabled, and energized.
I have a picture of my mom and dad from the 1950s. They're out camping in the English countryside, and they're on their motorcycle and sidecar. Now, obviously, my mom and dad didn't make a lot of money. That's the only car they could afford. Now, my dad, for 25 years, worked at Rolls-Royce. He was a designer of jet airplane engine components. So he was never really a high and mighty person in the Rolls-Royce organization. And I asked him, "Dad, obviously, from this motorcycle and sidecar in the picture, they didn't pay you very well at Rolls-Royce. Why would you have stayed there 25 years? And his answer was very interesting to me. He says, "First off, Adrian, it wasn't about the money." He says, "Every day I was excited to go into work because it was very innovative. Managers and engineers were trained to listen to us. They actually went through training in the 1950s to listen to and respect their employees." He says they were also taught to recognize us. If I added something to the drawing, my name would be added to the draft, which went up to senior leadership and to the client. He said there were even days where he would literally throw his fist in the air because he was so excited to go into work. That's what we're talking about when we talk about work culture, employee engagement. Can I pick on Dwight here? Dwight, why don't you stand up here? As you're driving into your office, Max, every day, do you just sort of throw your fist in the air and say, yes, I get to go to work today? Do you do that?
Sometimes.
Okay. Integrity is one of your core values. Nicely done.
Kindergartners laugh 400 times a day, and adults not so much.
Yeah, and what we found in the research is that companies and managers who lighten up are vastly more productive and profitable, and they even earn more money. But they're also doing it in a very smart way that drives productivity and creativity.
And it seems like a lot of these things, what they have in common is that these are things in the office.
Yeah.
They're not forcing employees to do things outside of work all the time that are supposed to be fun and are sometimes slightly annoying.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than, getting dragged after hours with the CEO who wants to do karaoke. What we're talking about here is having fun and linking it to work.
Laughing at work could be good for business.
It actually is. It's no longer the soft side of business. Our researchers found that in the best places to work, those Fortune 100 best places to work, 80% of people say they're having fun on the job. Most people's workplaces, I don't think it's anywhere like 80%. This is what we heard from one employee that we surveyed. She said this: when I make a mistake, I'm recognized 100% of the time. When I do something great, I am not recognized 99% of the time. This is what we get, The manager wants to see you, and the manager goes, hey, can I see you for a minute? And what are you thinking? More praise and recognition. This is killing my productivity. If I get one more frickin' plaque, I'm going to go ballistic. Specific. This is the other idea we learned too. Is that recognition can't just be, hey, great job, great job, great job. Great job, everybody. Great job. You kind of know these managers, everything's great job. They get their finger guns going. Hey, great job. Great job. Great job, you. And you're thinking, you don't know my name, do you? So let me bring this all together with one example. This is from Norton Healthcare. This is a great healthcare organization in Louisville, Kentucky. They have about 10,000 employees. A few years ago, Norton Audubon Hospital, which is the heart hospital, had an issue. Their food service department had 1% customer satisfaction nationally. So the CEO knew he had to do something, and he brought in a new director. His name was Mike Juleson. Within 6 months, Mike took that department from 1% nationally, customer satisfaction, to 99% within 6 months. Now, I asked Mike, I said, how in the world did you do that? He says, I just thought my people had been beaten up long enough. And so he says, we changed everything. He says, we praised. We even praised mistakes for a while. We praised when they arrived on time. We praised when they smiled at customers. We just thanked people for their jobs. And we listened to them. We listened to them on menu ideas and ways we could help our patients. My chef in his tall white hat started making rounds to patients and asking how they were doing. It made such a difference that people started showing up on time. They started coming in and caring about the customer experience. We started to have this noble goal of making a difference in patients' lives through their nutrition. He says, and something magical started happening. People started to care. From 1 to 99 in 6 months, all with some very, very simple ideas. When I speak, somebody listens. And when I do something great, I'm praised and I'm recognized. That was the magic. And great things happen.
He's called by many the world authority on corporate culture and leadership. Adrian Gostick will change the way you lead and inspire your people.
Is there potential locked within your workforce or within yourself? What we've learned about employee engagement will change the way you do business. And we're going to have some fun doing it.